it's 2 minutes past the hour for everybody. So I appreciate that everybody's busy. So I'm going to get started. So first of all, welcome everybody to introducing Cloud Native Nakisa Workforce Planning Portfolio. I would like to thank all of you for taking time out of your busy day to be with us here today to take a first look at what new workforce planning software that we actually have in store for all of you, all of us, org design and workforce planning practitioners and specialists. But before I get too much further than that, let me introduce ourselves first. So the hosts of today's webinar are going to be me. My name is Henry Chang. I'm the product marketer here at Nakisa. I've spent more than a decade now marketing technology of all sorts to businesses. And I've been here now at Nakisa for about a year, where I've been very steadily and eagerly becoming a devotee to org design and workforce planning. It's a really fascinating subject that's always poses some fantastic challenges, which is why, having developed this interest, I'm enthusiastic today to show you what exactly we've built here at Nakisa for you, the HR specialist or the HR leader, so that you can fully streamline your workforce planning activities. But the person who's going to be demonstrating all this will be my teammate, Nav. Nav, would you care to say a few words to people?
Sure. Thanks, Henry. Hi, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending where you are joining us from. I'm Nav Tasker, product manager at Nakisa, where I've had the pleasure of working for the past 12 years. With over 20 years of experience in the HR technology space, I am now dedicated to the world of workforce planning. So I can't wait to show you guys our innovative solutions today, as well as demoing the products later on. So with that, welcome to the session. Over to you, Henry.
Welcome. All right, so let me just go through our agenda for the day and a little bit of light housekeeping. So today we're going to start off with just like a brief look at the current workforce or HR global trends, and just to see what the context that's led us to actually build our workforce planning software. And then we're going to just do a quick explanation of why it is that we, Nakisa, we are uniquely qualified to help workforce planners and org design specialists of all stripes really do their best work possible. And then we get to the real meat of our webinar, which is going to be the actual demonstration and introduction of our workforce planning portfolio. Nav is going to be taking the reins on that, and she's going to be walking you through a very comprehensive demo of how the entire suite works seamlessly to do a real-world use case that you guys probably are already in the middle of doing. And just a couple of quick words before I continue, is that we fully expect that this is going to take us almost the entire hour. But we do encourage you to ask questions. Please type in your questions into the chat. We will answer your questions probably asynchronously after this webinar. But please do not be discouraged from asking questions. We will answer every question. They're all important. And then finally, the last thing, for everybody who's in attendance today, after this webinar, we're going to have a draw, so that you guys, well, 3 of you will win a copy of a lovely, wonderful strategic workforce planning book. I'll talk more about the book at the end, but leave us say, I wish I could give you all a copy of this book, but we have to have a draw, but we'll be doing that after this webinar. So just something to keep your appetite whetted. So with that, let's move on with the webinar proper. When we begin with a poll. So let me ask you all this. Does your organization use a workforce planning solution? So just about now, the poll should be popping up on your screen somewhere, and you should be able to answer. Just 1 second. I don't see it popping up. Excuse us. Oh, there we go. It's a multiple choice. Answer, submit, and then we're going to take a look in real time how this develops. Okay. Okay. So right now the numbers are coming in. The results are shifting left and right. So give me a second. Okay, still shifting. Okay, there's 64 people. Sir. over 60 people, and numbers still shifting on this call. So yeah, I'm seeing more responses. So I'll just give it a few more seconds. But so far it's looking as though it's a fairly even, if you can call that, split between having no workforce planning tools or a split, and then sorry, half of you don't seem to have a workforce planning tool, and then roughly a quarter each are you have a comprehensive one or use basic spreadsheets or legacy tools, and some of you are planning on implementing one. Okay, so there's a full spread, but pretty notable to me that about half of you don't have one just as yet. But no, that's fine. We're going to show you why having a good, powerful workforce planning solution is going to help you in your day-to-day and month-to-month and year-to-year. So I'm going to close the poll. All right. And I'm going to talk to you now a bit about the global trends that basically have set the stage for the context of, well, why we do what we do. So now, the in a pretty recent Gartner, a couple of recent Gartner surveys, some pretty interesting trends and priorities have been identified. So top priority in 2023 for HR leaderships, HR leaders, HR professionals is having there be effective managers and effective leaders. Now, obviously, this sounds obvious, but note that priorities change all the time. So right now, as of this particular moment, the zeitgeist in the HR world, this is the top priority. And then probably to feed into that or related to that is that org design and change management. Having these things in place effectively is a strong second top priority. And that's probably because, or probably in conjunction with the fact to stop doing org design or workforce planning for efficiency, like stopping applying just for the next quarter or something, but actually having a view to more long-term goals that actually align with the company's success and objectives. So because of that, there's an increasing trend towards organizations subdividing themselves into smaller, more autonomous, teams that actually have the power, have the authority to do organization design or workforce planning at their local level, their team level, to try to make their teams stronger and better to fit the organization's needs. And all of this, it's all set against the context of the fact due to the fact that about 80% of companies have done some degree of divestiture since 2021. This is per Deloitte. And also per Deloitte, about 6 in 10 org design projects or workforce planning projects, they're done basically in the absence of there being any meaningful executive buy-in, right? People are busy, but there's nonetheless, sorry, that might be one reason why this is happening, why there's no executive buy-in. But also another possibility is that really, as of this moment, only about a quarter of all organizations are legitimately data-driven, right? So there's gaps in data that makes it hard to really do the job of doing workforce planning. So this is the current snapshot of where we are, right? So this poses a set of challenges. So what's the solution to all this? Well, if we were to boil this down to three basic bullet points. One, the first part of the solution is we have to start doing workforce planning and designing for resilience, right? We have to actually start designing workforces or planning workforces such that they align with the long-term goal and make sure that the organization has the skills inherent or necessary to really allow the organization to do what it wants to do and to let it grow. Okay. Now, it's not in a vacuum, right? There also has to be collaboration. I mentioned before that 60% of org design and workforce planning projects happen without executive buy-in or collaboration, or probably even notification. So it's important that there be collaboration. It's important that the important work of workforce planning is democratized. That it can't just be a top-down org design or workforce planning that you do, but that you do a bottom-up as well. Bottom-up and top-down workforce planning are both key and important. They complement each other and are necessary. It's necessary to do this so that an organization can thrive and succeed and just move well into the future. So now, having identified all that, this particular solution, why are we at Nakisa, why are we uniquely qualified to help you, the HR leaders or leaders in general of organizations do excellent, exemplary workforce planning? Well, it's because we are the Fortune 1000's number one choice for workforce planning, lease accounting, and real estate management solutions. And it's not just empty hollow words here. We give results. We do good results, right? We can offer our clients up to basically a 60% reduction in their org design or workforce planning time based off of the solutions we have as of this moment. And that's on top of the fact that, well, if you're a client, we help ensure that you have easy compliance with a whole host of standards, right? Both accounting standards as well as security standards and the like. And where else are you going to find a company that can actually easily reconcile real estate management with lease accounting? These three things are all important, and they're not. There's very few companies, probably no companies, can actually do all three of these as well as we do, or probably no other company can actually do all three of these together. Period. And that's why we are the number one choice of, as you can see, quite a few Fortune 1000 enterprises. Like we cover over 130, we cover 135 countries, and over 6.6 million users benefit from using our software. So we definitely have qualifications, and now, right, our value proposition keeps on evolving. Right, we have very recently taken the step of becoming a true product-led company. Okay, we've always been second to none for customer support or for making sure that clients get what they need, but we still weren't full. We weren't quite a product-led company before. Well, that changes now, and the workforce planning portfolio is the first volley of products that officially exist under this particular banner and exist under this particular vision. It was developed and now exists under this vision. We make sure that everything is aligned, absolutely everything, the product, the sales experience, the marketing experience, the support experience, onboarding, everything is done in such a way that customers' best user experience is where we're always pointing towards, right? We've come to this position because we've always been an innovative company, right? That's why we've now are fully have cloud native architecture, and everything that we build going forward, and every customer who's on our latest platforms, for example, everything's cloud native, right? Everything's going to be product led. And then we've always been natively bi-directional. We've always had native bi-directional integrations with a host of ERP systems, notably, SAP, Workday, Oracle, but we have plenty of integrations. And as I said before too, right? We are compliant with a whole host of security standards as well. So, this is what we have to offer our customers, and who we are too. Right, going back to us being a company that actually looks forward. No, go back to that slide. Is that we don't, we anticipate trends. We pay very close attention to what's coming down the pike for in the technology space for our clients, and we always work towards making ourselves ready to execute on ready to execute or deliver products that will satisfy those trends. Make sure that nobody is left holding the bag, right? So last year we launched the Nakisa Cloud platform. We built this platform, and it's on this platform that all our new, current, and future products are going to. Sorry, all new and future products are going to be built on. And what that means, there's two particular things I really, really want to highlight. That means that we have everything we build is microservices based. So that means that every product, every solution is a microservice in and of itself. That makes it easier to scale. That makes it easier to be deployed or integrated with other solutions. No, very, very key. The other thing to really note is that we've built a solid large language model engine as part of this platform. And every product portfolio we have starting now going forward is going to take maximum advantage of that. And that includes the workforce planning portfolio that we're talking about today. Okay, so we're augmenting the entirety of our products with AI. So that's trend one that we'll always meet. And the other thing is that also this is part of our DNA, like our client-centeredness, our client-centric natures. We've pushed ourselves to become a product-led company because that means that everything, like I said, the product, the marketing, the sales, the support, onboard, everything is geared towards giving you the best user experience possible. That means implementation is fast, it's low touch. That means you get time to value much more quickly. No touch upgrades. And starting from every customer who's using our current NCP platform or products, like based on that, they're going to have in-app user engagement. They're going to have support, onboarding. It's all going to be from the app in and of itself. It's a true end-to-end experience, all geared towards giving you an exceptional user experience. So, and look, so that's where we are today. But that all came from a basis that led us to become become such a good provider to all of these clients here. We've always been client-centric, and everything we do to build our products to serve our customers, well, it's led us now today to being a product-led company and to have a powerful new platform that builds forward-facing, future-proof software. So that's who we are. Now, before I hand over the reins to Nav, I've got one more question for you. What's your approach to doing workforce planning? Okay, numbers slowly trickling in. Now, quickly trickling in. Come on, everybody. Let's answer this poll together. Okay. 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 A different breakdown relative to the first question. Okay. So I'm just going to give a few more seconds before I move on, but it looks as though the plurality of people here have approach this by doing operational planning based on the current headcount needs. Okay. And then minority doing reactive, and another minority doing strategic data-driven planning. But okay, definitely the bulk of people, well, the plurality of people is that there's an operational planning focused on current headcount needs. Okay, good to know. Well, you're certainly going to be interested in what we have to say then. So I'm going to close the poll in 3, 2, 1. Closing the poll. There we go. All right. So with that, I'm going to hand over the reins and put you in the capable hands of Nav. Nav, you ready?
Thank you. Yes,
All right, take it away.
Thank you so much. Thanks for that introduction. And I also share Henry's enthusiasm about the launch of our Nakisa workforce planning portfolio. So before we get into the demo that everyone's waiting for, there is some context that I do want to go through first, very important information. So let's get started. So with that, I want to first dive a little bit deeper into workforce planning itself. So let's define it, because this is a term that we all use, and this is a term that many of us are familiar with, but it could also have various meanings for different people. So for me, workforce planning is the process of assessing an organization's workforce needs to achieve its business goals. And it involves ensuring that the organization has the right people with the right skills in the right roles at the right time. Since workforce planning can mean so many different things to different people, it's important for leaders to understand its components and to find the best ways to support it. So there is no one-size-fits-all solution. Organizations do need to have a diverse set of portfolio products tailored to their specific needs. So Gardner says that workforce planning is a spectrum of solutions. It can involve anything from managing schedules, capacity, daily activities to strategic long-term planning. And these processes help organizations have the right skills and capacity to achieve its goals and mission. So each product approach targets a different aspect. So it could be anything from optimizing daily tasks to focusing on workforce capability for future business growth. So with that definition that we just looked at, it essentially translates into 5 different functions. And I'm just going to briefly cover the 5. So the first is workforce optimization, which is essentially optimizing the assignment and distribution of tasks to improve the business outcomes. There's workforce scheduling optimization, which is optimizing worker schedule to ensure fairness and compliance. We have operational workforce planning, so where you're planning now for the right number of and types of workforce resources to meet the projected business targets. We have organizational modeling and transformation management. So here you want to align the resources with that new structure following a significant event for example, a merger and acquisition or a major reorg in the organization. And lastly, there's strategic workforce planning. You want to ensure the workforce skills and resources align with your short and long-term strategies. So this spectrum that we see here has a diverse range, as you can see. So it's not just a simple process. There are different aspects of it. So when you look at different solutions, different workforce planning processes or activities will require different technology. So then where does Nakisa come in? Nakisa's workforce planning portfolio focuses on that latter part of that spectrum we just looked at. So we concentrate on operational workforce planning, org modeling and transformation management, and strategic workforce planning. And with this focus in mind, let's explore how this aligns with our new workforce planning product portfolio. Oops. Sorry about that. All right, so our workforce planning portfolio comprises of three main suites. We have the org chart suite, the org design suite, and the strategic workforce planning suite. Each of our suites contains a set of products. Org chart suite. This includes the org chart product with agile org chart and compliance reporting coming as part of our roadmap. We have the org design suite, and this suite encompasses both strategic and operational org design. We'll touch on the whole bottom-up, top-down approach that Henry was talking to, and we'll explore the different use cases. And then we have strategic workforce planning. This includes headcount planning with skills gap analysis soon to be added. Beyond these offerings, we have a very, very ambitious roadmap ahead of us as well. And these three suites collectively cover that latter part of that spectrum that we were just discussing in the previous slides. And additionally, two big pieces to this puzzle are HR Data Core and our Open Cloud platform. They are integral layers of our portfolio, and they're going to help and aid in managing and maintaining that data, ensuring security, and providing the integration via our API services. And as Henry was mentioning earlier, this cloud platform offers extensive capabilities that are aligned with our current technology trends. All right, so I want to just touch on some use cases of each of the product suites before we get into the demo. So when we're looking at the org chart suite, it's all about simplifying visualization of complex data. You know, whether it's in an org chart form, a report format, analytics, whatever, it's taking that ERP data that is very complex and making it to be something that's more understandable. You want to utilize multiple display options and summary views to access the most necessary data when needed and customize how you visualize and interpret your data. And accessing near real-time data will always ensure that you have the most current information to support your decision-making process. And lastly, you want to gain valuable organizational insights through our analytics, our reports, and you can generate them on the fly for that comprehensive overview. When we look at the org design suite, the beauty of the suite is really it offers powerful capabilities to streamline that org design process and to drive strategic decision making, of course, at all levels of the organization. So you can either adopt a bottom-up or top-down approach. So when we look at operational org design, this is a bottom-up approach. So here you empower your managers to manage their team. So now they'll be able to efficiently oversee and adjust their team structures, foster collaboration, simulate org changes, and streamline approval and execution processes. We want to simplify that process for approving, implementing those organizational changes, and ensuring the smooth and efficient execution of them. So when we consider strategic org design, so using a top-down approach, this involves realignment at a much higher level. So now you're impacting a larger portion of that organization, and the use cases can range anything. And again, this is not the entire list. There's organizational restructuring, mergers and acquisition, reduction in force, org efficiency, org optimization, etc. And this encompasses various scenarios from managing department realignments with clear objectives and targets, streamlining employee department data using during a merger and acquisition, and addressing talent risks and reduction in force, among other cases. So whether you're empowering your managers or empowering your managers to manage their team structures, or you're streamlining your HR actions during a major organization, this suite is definitely designed to support and enhance that decision-making process at all levels. And this takes us into the strategic workforce planning suite. So here, for headcount planning, this really enables organizations to forecast their labor costs by projecting hiring needs and salary expenses. So when companies plan to expand or reduce their workforce, our solution will help assess the necessary adjustments. It allows managers to simulate the different hiring or layoff scenarios. So, you're ensuring you have the right talent is available while considering the impacts on the overall budget. And then skills gap analysis. There's workforce capability assessment. So conducting a comprehensive skill assessment to identify your organization's strength and improvement areas. Forecasting future skills needs, collaborating with business leaders to align with strategic goals to determine, what the necessary competencies are. And of course, identifying that skill gap. So comparing your current skills with what are your future requirements and what is that gap. So this concludes the final suite. And through the integration of the various suites that we just looked at, org design, strategic workforce planning, the product provides a comprehensive approach to meet a wide range of business needs. All right, so the next part is the demo of the solution. And each product that we looked at, its separate use cases, each brings business value. So in today's demo, I want to tell one story and how each product could be used with this one specific use case that I'm going to cover. First, who uses the Nakisa workforce planning portfolio? So it's important to understand who can use our solution. So this can be used actually by all employees within an organization. With the different products that we have in our suites, they're tailored to specific roles and needs. The key personas include employees, executive, HR generalists, HRIS analysts, people manager, system administrator. So in today's demo, I'm going to primarily focus on three personas. We have Carla, she's an executive. We have Patricia, who is a people manager. And then we have Hilda, who's an HR professional, who's actually going to provide support throughout the entire process to both Carla and Patricia. So again, before we dive into the product, into the demo flow, I want to provide some context around the story or the use case. So imagine it's that time of year when headcount planning cycle's approaching. Finance has already created their overall headcount plan, and now all the executives have been tasked with the planning for their respective teams. The organization's main objective is to increase sales by 20%. And to achieve this, they plan to expand their product reach in the market. So with this new product that they're developing, they're hoping that they're going to be able to meet that target. And this particularly is going to require the formation of a new team within Patricia's organization. I'm going to start by accessing the application, the headcount planning application, as Carla. She's the one that manages the headcount planning process for the overall R&D organization. So here she's going to be able to review the global plan that she's been assigned to. She's going to be able to see the set objectives. She's then going to take that plan and she's going to create a subplan, and where she's going to assign that subplan to Patricia. She will then input some details in the plan, including what is Patricia's objective, what is Patricia's target headcount and budget going to be. Once Carla does that, Patricia is going to get an email notification about the headcount plan. But before Patricia goes to the headcount plan, she wants to make sure that she understands the current state of her organization. So she's going to then go and access the org chart product, where she's going to understand her structure, the key metrics. Now, once she's done that and she's ready, she's then going to access her headcount plan that's been assigned to her. Here, she will be able to then add and remove her headcount base as she needs. She'll be able to collaborate with HR and then eventually submit her her plan for review and approval to Carla. And Hilda's role here, Hilda is going to be added as a collaborator, and she'll be able to provide her feedback directly within the product itself to Patricia. Now, once Patricia gets her approval from Carla, she now wants to see, okay, now that I have my plan for the next year to meet my objectives, I want to see what my organization is actually going to look like at the end of 2025. So here she's going to create her org design where she's going to be able to create the positions, make any necessary adjustments to her current organization, and then she'll be able to as well collaborate with Hilda to make sure that the necessary changes are reflected back in the ERP. So with that, I'm going to go into the application, but just before I do that, I wanted to just point out that you can now access our new product portfolio and solutions much easier, and they can be done directly from our website as a SaaS solution. So here, our product center is where you can view all the products within our portfolio. And this central location is also accessible directly from our product as well. All right, so the first step is that oops. All right, there we go. So the first step is all right. So the first step in the headcount planning process is that Carla now is going to go in, and she is logging into the application. She is going to review the overall current headcount plan. So here I'm going to go ahead and open up the headcount plan that's been assigned to her from the top level down. And you can see it's called 2025 headcount plan. So what I see here is the plan information, which tells me the timeline of the plan. So it's starting from January to the end of the year in 2025, duration 12 months. The plan description, plan objectives have already been defined at a higher level. And here you can see we want to increase sales by 20% globally, and we want to increase the product reach in the market by introducing this new product X. Each of these charts that you see here, it's headcount by varying dimensions. So for example, I can see headcount by city, I can see headcount by functional area, and headcount by departments. And there's other dimensions you can, of course, add as well. So as each manager completes their planning, we'll be able to consolidate the plans and see how all the different plans will impact this overall global plan. And headcount over change, of course, is flat right now because the planning cycle is just starting. But as the managers go in and start making those adjustments and the team start adding the people, you will see how that headcount will be over that planning cycle. This objective that we're looking at is obviously going to impact the entire organization, right? And one team, as I mentioned specifically, Patricia, who's part of my team, the R&D team, she is one of the managers on the team that's going to need to make certain adjustments to her team because she's responsible for the conception and development of this new product. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and start by creating a subplan. So now I want to create a subplan that I can assign to Patricia. So I'm going to go ahead and search for Patricia here. And I'm going to give the subplan a name. Let's call it Product X. And as you can see, the owner of this is going to be Patricia. Now, what this is going to do is actually going to create a plan only for Patricia and her organization so that she can just manage just her team itself. So I'm going to go ahead and create that. And you can see from the top here, I am now looking at the Product X plan, the subplan. So here I have the options to go in and update any of the plan information. I'm going to leave the root plan objectives. It's important, but I'm going to go in and add a couple of objectives for her specifically. So one is going to be, we want her to establish highly skilled team in the city of Woodlands. So this new team that we're actually forming is actually going to be located in a specific city. The second objective I want to add is I want to make sure that she ensures team has the correct technical skill level. So you can go in, you can add as many objectives as needed, but I'm going to go ahead and save that. The other thing that I want to do is I want to set her headcount and budget targets. So I have the numbers that have been shared with me from finance. I know for her particular team what my budget and my target is. So I'm going to go ahead and set that at 21 and we'll say 7,500K. So now with that, of course, you see the headcount range is not populating, but as she goes in, we will see this change, and I will show you that momentarily as well. So now the next step is that Patricia has received a notification that this headcount plan has been shared with her and that she needs to start her planning. So as I mentioned earlier, the next step would be for Patricia to actually access the org chart application so that she can do an assessment of her current organization. So right here, I'm logged in as Patricia in the org chart application. I can see the top of the structure down. I can either navigate directly to my position in my organization through the org chart, or I can simply just search for myself using the search bar here. So search, and with a few easy clicks, the view and org chart, it's going to take me directly to my organization so that I can look at it. In here, I'm going to go ahead and root at my organization. And what that does is it just starts the organization so I don't see anybody else and I can focus directly on my team. So here I see all of the people and the positions that report into me. At any point, I can get any information about any employee position by accessing the details page. And in particular, I wanted to get some information on Bryant. So Bryant, I want to first find out how long he's been with the organization. He's been doing really well, and as part of the strategy for next year, I know he's up for promotion. So there's some details that I do want to find out about him. So by accessing the details page, I can very easily glance, what scale, salary scale he's in. I can go into employment detail. Okay, so this is great. I know that he's been here for 10 years. And I can also get any kind of compensation related details as well. I'm going to jump back into the org chart. And so again, for any employee, you can go into that depth of level of information that you want, but I want to also have a quick holistic overview of my organization and some data. The first thing that I want to know is what is the overall cost of my organization? So as I'm doing my headcount planning and thinking of what do I need in the future, these are some of the things that are going to come into mind. So I'm going to go ahead and enable employee analytics. And what you see is a bunch of analytics will appear, but I'm actually going to just quickly disable the ones that are not important to me at the moment. At the same time, I want to know what are all the jobs and roles within my organization. So again, so I know for that development, what kind of skills do I need? What kind of people do I need? What positions do I need to hire for? And I'm also going to just add performance potential just as a quick reminder to myself so I know where people are falling right now. So with a few clicks, you can see how dynamically easy it was for me to populate this data. And you can add as much or little or data that you need depending on what it is that you're trying to do at that time. I'm going to switch over to the summary view just because there's a ton of boxes here. And I want to be able to easily see that organization in a better view. And what the summary view does is it actually takes all of those boxes and it consolidates it into a view that's much more easy to digest. So here you can see I'm seeing the same people, the same information. I see myself, I see all of the positions, the people, their jobs, their performance potential, all the information consolidated. So again, I'm only looking at one organization, but you can definitely look at the whole organization like that as well. So going back to the standard view. So now as Patricia, I've got all the information that I need to go ahead and start making those planning adjustments that I want to do for the next year. So with that, I'm going to go in and I'm going to go to the headcount planning solution. I just need to refresh so I can see that new plan that was shared with me. All right, so now as you can see in the corner, I'm logged in as Patricia Pearson. I'm going to go to my plans, and here I can see the plan that's been shared with me. So the overall global plan 2025 headcount plan, product X, if you recall, Carla had created that subplan and she gave it the name product X. I'm going to go ahead and access that. So now from here, I can see the plan information. I can see, all right, she's given me some objectives. I need to make sure that I've got a highly skilled team in the city of Woodlands. I need to make sure that I have the right technical skills. And I can also see what my target headcount and budget is. You'll notice that I can't make any modifications because that's the plan that's been shared with me. So with this, I'm going to go into the planning tab. And what the planning tab is, this is where I do my planning. So this shows me every job that is in my organization. I've got some additional fields of data added, city, for example, department, job, family. There will be others that can be added here as well. I'm going to go ahead and just sort by city, because if you remember, my planning is primarily going to be done for the city of Woodlands. And what you see here over on the right-hand side is the year, or that calendar year of when this planning is effective for. So it was from January to December. Again, depending on the organization and what their fiscal planning year is, it would adjust accordingly. But in this case, I am planning for that entire year of 2025. So with the objectives in mind, I know that I want to be a little bit aggressive early on in the year. I know for sure that I'm going to need to have at least one additional solution architect added. I've got one already. And I'm going to need a senior software developer. The reason I want to hire these guys early on is because we're designing that new product from scratch. So I need the design, I need them to come up with a good architectural design and, the whole conception of it. So they're going to start off earlier. And then I believe by a few months later, I'm going to want to add a couple of developers so that they can start building that proof of concept based on what they've come up with earlier on in the year. And then by the end of the year, we want to be in much more of a full force of developing that product. So I'll likely want to have 2 more developers added. And I want to make sure there's some space between them because it does take time for onboarding employees and stuff. So we'll add them in, say, approximately in October. So based on what I have and what I want to add, this is probably going to be sufficient for me. One of the other things I wanted to mention is one of the engineering DevOps engineers that we have, they're actually going to be moving to a different team, and we are not backfilling that position. So she's leaving in July. So I'm actually going to go ahead and remove her position so that we take that whole that change into consideration as well. So now that I've made the plan changes, what you can see here is monthly cost and cumulative cost. So you can actually see what your targets are going to be throughout the year and where you're kind of going up and down in terms of your budget. And at the very top here, we see that I've added 6 new positions. I've closed 1 position, which means my forecasted total number of positions is going to be 20. The target I had that was set by Carla was 21. So that's great. I'm still within that budget. And then if I look at the cost, I can see that the cost, I'm slightly over in cost. So with that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually add Hilda, who is my business partner. Hilda. And at the same time, I'm actually also going to add Carla in because I might need Carla to make some adjustments to the budget. And then my approver after will be Carla. So I'm just going to go ahead and add these guys in. I'm going to send a quick note to my business partner, Hilda, and to my manager, Carla, just to let them know, can you please review this plan and make adjustments to the budget or somehow make the budget work. So directly through the product itself, I can go ahead and send that. I can collaborate with Hilda and Carla. So what's going to happen now is both of them would get a notification. They can access this plan because I've shared it with them. I've given them access to it, make any necessary adjustments, and then provide me the final approval once those adjustments have made. So now, once Carla has gone in and finally approved my budget, maybe she, gave me more budget, or maybe she didn't, whatever that case might be, I now want to go and see what this end state of my organization is going to look like. So with that, I'm going to go into org design, where I'm going to design that structure. So now, what I see here is I still see my position, and I still see all of the same people that we were just looking at in the org chart. So the first thing that I want to do is I actually want to add a new position, right? Because that new team that I'm developing, I want there to be a leader in that position. So I'm going to go ahead and add team lead. And because I don't know what the name is going to be, I'm going to call it Team Lead Product X. Save that. And the next thing I want to do is I'm going to go ahead and add city. As I mentioned, this team is going to be in the city of Woodlands. And the next change I want to do is actually all of the employees that I have in Woodlands is now going to actually report into that new manager. So I'm going to go ahead and quickly select all of my folks that are in Woodlands. And I'm going to simply drag and drop them into that underneath that new team lead position. And just like that, very simply, I've been able to move all of those people under this team lead. We were talking about Bryant earlier. So Bryant is actually, I'm going to promote Bryant to the team lead position. So I'm going to actually add him up here. And I'm going to remove him from here so that I don't forget I have an open position that I can still hire for. All right, so with that, now Bryant is managing this additional team and his previous position has become vacant. I'm going to go ahead and add my solution architect that I need, the new position that I'm hiring for. It's going. Solution architect. And I also needed an additional software developer. So to make it easier, I'm actually just going to clone that position. And that's been added. And by the end of 2025, I know I'm adding 4 additional headcount of software developers. So I'm going to go ahead and do a multiple clone here. And let's add 4. Perfect. So now this is the new team that is going to be supporting that new product X that we're going to be developing in 2025 to reach that objective of increasing sales by 20%. One of the other changes, if you recall, I mentioned our DevOps engineer, Hayden. She's actually leaving to another team. So again, because I want this to reflect that end state, I'm going to go ahead and actually remove her. And because we are not refilling that position, backfilling, I'm going to go ahead and delete that position. So you can see it's been removed here. All of these changes that I'm doing in real time here, they're actually being tracked in this changes log. I can even go to any of these changes that I've made by clicking on it, and it'll show me exactly where that change was made within my structure. So very easy user interface to understand. At any point, I can also add collaborators. So here I can go ahead and add Hilda if I needed to get any kind of support from her. I can, once I am ready, actually, I can send this to Hilda, as well as I can add her as an approver and Carla as an approver to make sure that all of these changes that we are doing are reflected in the ERP in the back end. So again, this was just a quick and easy, solution to creating that end state of that organization to see what it's going to look like. And if I just go back into the PowerPoint, I just wanted to kind of review the demo flow. I hope I didn't lose anybody through the process, but the first step was that Carla went in, she reviewed the overall global plan, created a sub-plan, assigned it to Patricia. She added in some pertinent information. Patricia then accessed the org chart because before she did the planning, she wanted to see what is the current state of my organization. She was able to see metrics, take a look at detailed information about employees, etc. She then accessed the headcount planning solution where she was then able to take a look at what are her targets and plan for that fiscal year. Once she added her pieces in, she was then able to collaborate with Hilda as well. And she was able to finally send her plan for approval. And once Carla approved it, she was able to then go into org design to design that end state of that organization. So this was the demo. Hope everybody enjoyed it. And with that, I'm going to pass it back to Henry for the next poll and closing remarks.
All right. Thank you, Nav. Thank you for taking us through that comprehensive demo. I hope everybody here, if not excited, as minimum enthusiastic about these major improvements we've brought to workforce design. Workforce planning, excuse me. Anyway, with that, let's go to our final poll. What's your biggest workforce planning challenge? So please submit and let's take a look at this. Hmm. Seems to be, oh, okay, no, the early leads is being eaten away. Okay, I'm just gonna wait. More responses coming in. Waiting. Getting some nice little feedback from our audience here. It's good to hear. All right, still I know there's more of you out there, so I'm just gonna give you another 10, 15 seconds to respond to the poll before I close it and take a look at the numbers here. Yeah. And closing in five, well, interpreting in five, four, three, two, one. All right, let's take a look here. So what do we have here? So, okay, so nearly half of you say that forecasting future workforce needs accurately is your biggest challenge. Okay, I can see why that might be the case given the preamble early on in this presentation. But no, as I hope that you can see what we have, we might be able to help you with that. Then beyond that, nearly a third, it's identifying gaps and then aligning work, and then small and smaller numbers for aligning workforce supply and retaining top talent. So looks as though it's in the actual planning phase that you have the biggest challenges. Well, excellent. We can help. All right. So let's close this poll. Pardon me, my mouse is not cooperating. Closing. All right, here we go. So it's been nearly an hour that you've spent with us, and we've gone through a lot. So let's go with a quick summary here. What did we go through today? So going in a bit of a reverse. Now I've walked you through a comprehensive demo of our new Nakisa workforce planning portfolio, which, as you can see now, it's a portfolio of several suites of powerful software that lets you do top-down and bottom-up org design, workforce planning, operational workforce planning, and obviously you have very powerful org visualizations and modeling, etc. Good transformation management stuff, and then finally. You need headcount planning, you need strategic workforce planning. Here it is. So why it is that we are uniquely qualified to really help you really take care of all these tasks and can really take on the strategic aspects of all this. It's, well, we now are a product-led company. Right, everything going forward, everything that's built off of our current platform, like at NCP, and every product, including the workforce planning portfolio that we showcased here today, it's all geared towards providing you with the best user experience possible. So that's all of it, not just the product, not just software, but the support that you're going to get, the onboarding you're going to get, everything. It's all geared towards making this the best experience for you possible. This is fully cloud native going forward. Everything we offer you is going to be fully cloud native, multi-tenant, and in the event you need help, and who doesn't, we will always provide professional services to help you with implementation and deployment. Again, all aligned with being a product-led company. We want to make sure that your experience is the best possible. And we're always going to provide biannual upgrades to make sure that you always have the latest, greatest version of the software, and always with no-touch upgrades. And all this is to make sure that you do the best workforce planning possible. We are your partners, or if you're not our clients, we want to be your partners in making sure that you can build your organization for success both today and beyond. So I'd like to thank you all for your time here today. This has been great. Just a quick reminder again that the questions, I think some of the questions that have been asked have been answered, but there's might I think I still see some other questions potentially popping on in. We're going to answer every questions asynchronously. We're almost at the end of the hour. And also just a quick reminder again that we're going to put every attendee's name here in a draw for a book called Strategic Workforce Planning, Developing Optimized Talent Strategies for Future Growth. This is a book by Ross Sparkman. It's a very good book for, well, basically, if you're an org design or workforce planning a professional, specialist, or hobbyist, if such a thing exists, well, this is a good book. And like I said, I wish I could give it to all of you, but we can only give it to 3 of you. But yeah, like the lucky winners will be notified, and we'll be sending it your way, once we've picked out the winners. So there's really not much time left, so I'm not going to start answering. Neither I nor Nav will answer any questions. But if you have any questions, please again enter them into the chat or reach out to your account manager, or just reach out to us here at Nakisa for more information. We're only too happy to answer your questions. Yeah, thank you for your time. I'm really, really glad you could spend this hour with us. Nav, do you have anything to say?
No, I think you've kind of covered it. Thank you, everybody, for your time. Have a great rest of your day.